Good morning, everybody. Turn that down real quick. How's everybody doing today? I'm your host, Armando Ortega, and welcome back to another episode of the Mind of Mando. For those who are at work, I hope the rest of your shift goes smoothly. And for those who work graveyard, hope you have a good day's sleep. Maybe it's your night off. I don't know. Either way, funny thing about graveyard. Oh, yeah. Before I get into it. What you're hearing in the background, if you've never heard about it before, I don't blame you. I played a lot of exotic music here. No, not really. This is the theme for Watch Dogs 2 from Ubisoft. It's just so chill, you know that? It's so incredible. I love it. I love it. I'll turn it down a little bit more so you guys can hear me more. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing alright. Hope you guys are doing pretty great yourselves too. Whether you're at work, maybe it's your day off, running some errands, anything, Just hope you guys have an incredible day. What was I saying before? Oh yeah, talking about graveyard. It's crazy. Something that always made me wonder about graveyard was this. So currently we have daylight savings time. And you know how is it March? Correct? Yeah, March. How in March, how we have to put the time back 1 hour. Just back 1 hour. And that always happens at 2 in the morning. So when it's 1:59 a.m., when a minute passes and it's supposed to be 2 a.m., it reverts back to 1 a.m. again. So you have an extra hour of sleep. A lot of people like that. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, an extra hour of rest, yada yada, this and that. And it actually does help a lot. Unfortunately, for those who work graveyard, Oh, wait, is it March? Is it March that we gain an hour or lose an hour? Let me just check this out real quick. Hold on. Okay, no, never mind. I said it wrong. November is when we gain an hour. So when we turn the clocks back an hour. March is when we lose an hour. So once 1:59 passes and it's 2 o'clock, instead of being 2 o'clock, it hits straight to 3 in the morning. So we lose an hour. Well, anyways, it's a give and take type of scenario. Oh, and by the way, I heard that I don't know exactly where, but they're talking about getting rid of daylight savings altogether. Just let the time go. It's Rome, Well, anyways, there's something that I always wondered. Okay, so everybody gains an hour of sleep in November, correct? So what about those who work graveyard? They have to work an extra hour, and if they have to work an extra hour, do they get compensated for that extra hour? Part of me thinks that yeah, you should. And honestly, I could probably solve my own question in a quick Google search. But I don't know, because I haven't worked graveyard since that first job I had, since I lived down here, correction. How do you call it? But the thing is, I don't know how I don't know, because I worked down here in graveyard. I moved down here back in June 2016. And I worked that graveyard job all the way up until December 26, 2016. Meaning that daylight savings, when we had to turn the clock back an hour, I worked that night. I still have no idea what happened. I don't remember it at all. I don't know if I got paid an extra hour or not. Seeing how that company was, I doubt it. I doubt I worked an extra hour. I earned an extra hour. They were hella shady for real with my money. Give me 1 second. I'm enjoying my coffee. I have coffee waking up in the morning, It's going to be a short podcast today, to be honest, because even though it's only 10:31 right now when I'm recording this, it's how do you say it? I still got 3.5 hours until I'm supposed to be into work. So I'm just gonna do this real quick, fix up around the house as much as I can, and hit up the gym real quick, and then take a shower, get changed, and go to work. It's today is the first time in over 2 months that I actually start work at 2. You know, like I've been one of my coworkers was in parental leave. Him and his wife had a kid, and he was gone for like 2 months, a little over 2 months. And so yeah, so he's back finally this past weekend, and so now my schedule is going to be switched up again. I'm advocating to have mornings still, because it's just like my whole things are centered around mornings. But ultimately, if I have to go in graveyards, I mean, not graveyards, hell no. If I have to go back to 2 p.m., it's all right. I enjoy working people with 2 p.m. also. So yeah. Well, anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so that's what I always wanted to know. If any of you guys know, just let me know. Like I said, I can Google it, but you know, I guess it's just one of those things that it's different for different cities, counties, states, or companies. I don't know. So yeah. Anyways, I mentioned about this song, Watch Dogs 2. Funny thing about this, I think I explained it in the past before, but the thing is, I don't know, I just really like this theme song. I remember when this game first came out, it was, how do you call it? It came out in November of 2016. It was roughly around 4 or 5 months after I had already moved down here. And I didn't hear anything about it at all. That's the whole thing. Like, maybe I missed E3 that year. I forgot. But all I know is, I'm pretty sure I missed E3. Well, I know that back home in SF, Ubisoft has one of their offices over there. You know, it's about 2 blocks away from AT&T Park. Well, it used to be called AT&T Park. Now it's called the Oracle Park. I think Oracle Arena, Oracle Park, whatever. It's where the SF Giants play and everything. So they're just 2 blocks away from there. I remember when, like, out of high school, when I started working at Jimmy John's and everything, one of the big catering deliveries that I like, my former boss, he was hella cool. He was hella chill. He knew I was a nerd and I loved video games. And he was like, hey, you play video games, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, you know a video game company that's down here? They make, like, this Cry game and everything, like Far Cry? And he's like, yeah, I think so. And I'm like, Ubisoft. They're a video game developing company. And he's like, yeah. And then he goes, I'm like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, oh, they just ordered a huge catering order. It's almost done. You're going to take it. And I'm like, what? You know, I had just started like my shift, and I was like, that's insane. He saved it for me. And I was like, yo, this guy's dope, man. I miss that guy. Last I heard about him, because a few months ago, actually, this past November, man, everything's happening in November on this episode. This past November, a friend whom I'm also met working at Jimmy John's, she knows my boss and everything. We both also work together at a pizzeria. She was down here with her boyfriend celebrating her birthday. And I was just like, I hadn't seen her in years and years and years and everything. So it was funny how, because we still have each other on Facebook, she posted up on Facebook a view from her hotel room. She's like, hello, San Diego. And I hit her up like, oh, crap, you're in San Diego? I live down here. And we're like, whoa. And then, you know, it turns out her and her boyfriend wanted to eat at a place that was 3 blocks away from where I live right now. So I go and I meet them, and we end up talking and everything. I had to go work soon after that, so I couldn't stay. But what do you call it? We ended up talking and catching up. And what it turns out was shortly after I left, shortly after me and the girl whom I moved down here with left, who, by the way, all 3 of us were like real good friends. Anyways, she said how my former boss, how I guess he started feeling the same way I was feeling when I, how do you say it? When I moved down here and I stayed down here for an extensive amount of time, which was a severe case of homesickness and everything. And how do you say it? She was telling me how he would go back home and every visit was a little more frequent and a little longer, yada, yada, yada. And then how one day he came back with some paperwork and he was meeting one of our other coworkers for the pizza place and everything. Turns out, oh, and funny part, the other coworker, he's from San Diego, born and raised. It's funny because him and his friend who moved from San Diego up there when I was still living up there were saying their names have Y's in them when typically those names don't have the letter Y. And I met people here in San Diego who a lot of their names have a Y instead of another letter that names would usually have. And how do you call it? We would always talk about it. Well, anyways, it's funny how we just switch places like that. Now, he lives, last I heard, he lives like a few blocks away from my old place in Oakland. And how do you call it? Yeah, well, anyways, my former boss and my former coworker, I guess they met up at some point and they started, how do you say it? Just, talking. And I guess it got to the point where my boss, he's what is that word when like you open up a chain restaurant in a different place just to expand that company and everything like that? Well, he did that in San Francisco with Jimmy John's, because Jimmy John's used to just be a purely Midwest thing, and SF was the first California Jimmy John's there was. And how do you call it? What was the other one? Oh yeah, and he started a pizzeria in a different neighborhood. Well, anyways, so he started both stuff. Well, anyways, he sold the pizzeria business off to how do you say it? He sold it off to what is that place? To our former coworker. They met up because paperwork and everything was signed off. Well, the restaurant was officially made the former coworker's restaurant now. So my former coworker is the owner of that pizzeria and everything. And my former boss, it's sad, but I understand why he did this. He as soon as he dotted his I's, crossed his C's and everything like that, and everything was said and done, him, his wife, and his child packed up their stuff and they went back home to Chicago and everything. So it's just like, I miss that guy. I hope the best for him in life and everything. But, it's like the other episodes I talked where it's just like, hey, you know what? Friendships, they come, they go. People move on. People move forward with their lives and everything. Not everybody's meant to stay in your life forever. But honestly, it's just one of those things where we may never talk again. But I hope your life goes amazing. Well, yeah. Well, anyways, so that's what I found out about my boss. He moved back, and my friend, she's doing great and everything. And what do you call it? It's just funny how small this world can be sometimes. But yeah. Well, anyways, my original talk was about Watch Dogs 2. It came out in November of 2016 when I first moved down here and everything. I remember I really wanted to play it because I was like, I want to see how accurate they got my home and everything like that. And then in March of 2017, I remember I had just quit that job I hated for graveyards like 3 months prior, and I was already working these train jobs and everything. Xbox did a thing where you could download the game and play it for free for the first 3 hours and everything. So I did it, and honestly, I didn't really do missions. All I did was drive around the city and see everything and just pretend I was home. And every time I play this song, it reminds me of two things now. I used to play it a lot when I used to work for enforcement work for the trains down here, but when I would be assigned to drive a mobile from different areas and everything like that, Balboa Park here in San Diego, it's a beautiful park. Believe me, it is a very beautiful park. I want to go visit it a lot more often. The weather down here, it's sunny, but it's kind of weird lately. It's like it's always like partly cloudy. Always. So it's not like bluish skies, the bright yellow sun, the green trees and plants or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's that, but it's cloudy and it just gives like this hazy kind of look, and it just seems like, yeah, it can go out, but it just feels like a chore at this point. If that makes sense. But yeah, so how do you call it? Balboa Park is completely beautiful. Anyways, when it was those iconic sunny San Diego days, I worked out, had an incredible breakfast. I was working the afternoons. I was in my mobile. The day was just absolutely gorgeous. I used to bump this song on, and it just pretend I used to be at home and everything. Well, anyways, I guess I did it so much because when I went back home for the first time back in 2020 and everything, right, such an amazing time to go visit. I drove all the way over there, and I remember putting this song as soon as I got there and started driving around Golden Gate, the Golden Gate Bridge, and Golden Gate Park. And it's just like, San Diego and over there, it will always be a reminder whenever I play this song, and it's fun. It's also a good song just to play it, like listen to it, just just vibe to it and everything. Oh man. Well, anyways, enough about that. Let me see something. I remember I wrote something down as of late. Let's see where it goes. Oh yeah, I've been rewatching The Big Bang Theory after like years of not doing so, and it's funny because a lot of the episodes that I remember about it, it all happened in season 1. I thought that show came out like in 2010 or something like that. No, it's 2007. And I was just like, holy crap, 2000. I was in middle school still. I was like 13 years old in 2007. And it's just like, holy crap, And I don't know, watching the episodes, it's insane. Because they remind me of a lot of good times. My older sisters and everything, we would all watch it together. But also, it's cool to watch something like that you can remember enjoying as when you were really young, and also seeing the references. Like for instance, this one episode I watched today. It was an episode where Sheldon was like, one of his fans, quote unquote, for his work, became a really, how do you call it, deranged and controlling girlfriend that wouldn't let him have fun with his friends anymore, nor have fun himself. She just wanted him to work over, like, on and on and on and on and everything. She, how do you say it? He was trying to sneak playtime together, like play PSP in the shower, and she would catch him and everything. Well, one thing was he hid a Batman comic book behind one of his physics books or whatever, and how do you call it, she caught on, she took the book away, and what it was a Batman comic, but it had an advertisement on the other side for Soul Calibur 4. I don't know if I talked about Soul Calibur in my last episode. I feel like it did, but I'm not sure anymore. Well, anyway, Soul Calibur is fun. One of my favorite games ever. Well, they had a whole thing of Soul Calibur 4 advertising it prior to it coming out, and I was like, oh my god. Soul Calibur 4? What? And it was just like, it surprised me because it's just like, that was old. That was old. You know how old that was? Soul Calibur 4, I used to play, like, here's the thing. The way I got introduced to Soul Calibur was Soul Calibur 2. I remember I had a GameCube. I was in elementary school. And I remember one of my older sisters, my second oldest sister, she was asking me, she was like, hey, Tito, which was my nickname. She goes, I'm gonna get a game today. What kind of game do you think you want? And everything. And I was like, oh, and I was thinking about it. And I was like, I remember that going to a house from a friend of mine's in elementary school, and he had Mortal Kombat. And I was like, a fighting game, but I didn't know what it was called at that point, I was like, yeah, a game where you can fight, yada yada. So she went to the store, I guess. To EB Games before it was bought out from GameStop. 1 second. And I went to school, and then I got back home, and she was home already. She was like, oh, look, I got it. And it wasn't Mortal Kombat. You could tell from the title. It was Soul Calibur 2. I've never heard about Soul Calibur at that point, ever. So I was just like, Soul Calibur 2. She put it on, different starting, different character selection, different everything. But it looked amazing. It looked incredible. And I remember trying to play as Maxi, trying to play as Nightmare, trying to play as Necrid, trying to play as Astroth and everything like that, because these were like big guys, super not good guys and everything like that. Like they look powerful was what I meant. But my sister would always beat my ass with Maxi, and we were playing this one mode where we got to pick 5 characters each. Well, my second to last character was Keelik. And I remember she was just whooping my ass with all my other characters, and I get to Keelik, and I'm just starting to just absolutely go beast mode on with Keelik. And she was like, "Oh my god, this is that." And from there on forward, Keelik I felt like was my main character, like for reals. And then I got more into like Keelik's story, his lore, and everything like that. Turns out me and him were born in the same exact day, February 9th. And we were both the same exact height and everything. Well, now. But we were both 5'10". And born in February 9th. And I'm like, what? It was like meant to be. What? But, how do you call it? Yeah. And ever since then, Soul Calibur has been my fave. And I remember having Soul Calibur 4, not only because I just love Soul Calibur, but it was the one where they had the Star Wars characters come in. Darth Vader was PlayStation exclusive, Yoda was Xbox exclusive, but they both had an unlockable third character, which they called the Apprentice in the game, but his name is, Starkiller, Galen Merrick. Unlockable for both games. They later on released DLC, so you can have all 3 Star Wars characters, no matter what console you're playing on. And yeah, I just played it a lot, and I remember going out on the day every summer, and 1 second, sorry, you hear the trolley outside. Okay. Oh snap! Sorry, I kind of scared Chef by playing this song. Well, anyways. Oh, we already listened to that one. Alright, we'll play this one. Well, anyways, I remember going out like that summer with my buddy, one of my closest friends and everything like that. We used to meet up every morning, go walk around and everything like that. We would stop by this old burrito place in front of directly in front of where I lived, called La Cascada, which is Spanish for like waterfall and everything. And because every Monday, and we would mainly do this every Monday actually, every Monday they would have the biggest burritos, and they tasted, oh my god, they tasted so good. We would go back to my place and we would play Soul Calibur 4, and we would play Black Ops Zombies, the first Black Ops, of course, and we would always play in 5 and Kino de Toten, and it was like iconic. And then that's how old Soul Calibur 4 is. I was still in middle school. It was summer before I went to 8th grade, and it was just like, that's just seriously how old Soul Calibur is and everything. And now they had Soul Calibur 5, which is, it's cool, it had Ezio in it, but now they have Soul Calibur 6. Well, they've had Soul Calibur 6 for the past 4 years, and it was Geralt of Rivia. And I love it. I still play Soul Calibur 6, but yeah, that's how I got into the Soul Calibur games and everything. And it's just like, if you guys haven't played it, really try it. It's just, there's a lot of fighting games out there and everything. It's not gory or just graphic like Mortal Kombat is. So if Mortal Kombat is your own stuff, I like Mortal Kombat. My boy doesn't like it because he's weird. But if you guys like more of that type of stuff, then yeah, stick to Mortal Kombat. Street Fighter, it's not like Street Fighter either. Think about Dead or Alive, basically. Think about that, except with like more warrior anime style characters with special guests. I mean, like Soul Calibur had Spawn, which was Xbox exclusive. What's his name from Tekken for the PlayStation, and then they had Link for the GameCube, which is the one I had. Then they had Darth Vader, Yoda, Starkiller. Then they had Ezio, and now they have Geralt. And then like in the PSP version, they had Kratos from God of War and everything. And yeah, so it was a pretty pretty enjoyable game. I forgot what my original point of bringing this all up was. Other than that, it's just, my cats are like hella sleeping right now. It's funny because my there's a cage my woman puts the cat in when they're in timeout. But like it's not like a cage where they can't see anything besides the entrance. No, it's an open thing. Well, anyways, they know that that's their timeout spot, but when they're not in trouble, sometimes they just go in there to sleep, But yeah. Well, anyways, I closed the door, the cage gate on my cat while he was in there sleeping. The thing is, I didn't lock it. All he needed to do was push it slightly and the door would open because it wasn't locked. He sat there thinking that he was in trouble. He was like meowing at me. And I was like, dude, just push it. And he just, being a cat, doesn't understand. So I just put a finger there and just pulled it slightly. And he saw that it was unlocked. And he was like, oh, okay. But yeah. And it's one of those things, I have a lot more to talk about because I've been thinking about many different topics and everything. Thing is, I know that the other stuff I want to talk about also being like, how do you call it? Oh my God, I messed this up. Hold on. Okay. I just know that the other stuff that I have to talk about, I just kind of want to put a little more, how do you call it? Information, get a little more organized and everything, because being a podcast, I just come out here just talking generally about whatever pops into my mind at the moment and everything, which is why you hear me backtrack sometimes, like start a topic and then just go over to a whole string of thoughts and everything, and then realized I went too far, that I need to go back to my original starting point because I was going somewhere else originally with that. Well, sometimes the things I talk about, I kind of want it a little bit organized and everything, but still have that more of a, we're just having a conversation vibe rather than me just telling you, Excuse me. But when it comes down to like serious topics and everything, I kind of want to get a little more organized in that stuff. So that way, when I'm speaking to you, it's not like I'm speaking out of my butt or anything. If I make mistakes, I'll correct it. But yeah, no, I have a lot more stuff to talk about. Today is my Friday. It's going to be great. It's my Friday, and I'm ready for it. I'm going to have tomorrow and Friday off before going back in on Saturday. And how do you say? Excuse me. And so yeah, I'll have a new episode out for you guys tomorrow. Well, anyways, like I said earlier today, I hope you guys are having an incredible day, even if it's not that great, heads up, chin up, just the day's almost over. Just go home, relax, do what you like to do. And for anything, I'll leave you off this, guys. I spoke to a coworker and everything, and he was talking to me about being in a rut and everything. Like, he just feels like he's in a rut. I mean, he's healthy, he's active, he's confident, and he has a woman that he cares dearly about, but he's just in a rut and everything. And I just started speaking to him because it's just like, for me, guys, it's just like, I felt like I've been in ruts countless of times. You know how it is. Your life is going great. There's really no serious problems going on. It's just, you feel like at one point you're just doing stuff over and over and over and over and over again. And it's just like, when is it going to change? Like when is it going to stop? And if something exciting were to happen. My advice was this to him, and maybe you guys can probably, take it for yourselves also. This is how I worked myself out of the rut. Or at least attempted to. And it worked from time to time. Which is basically, just look at what you're doing. You wake up every day, you get ready, you go to work. You're at work doing the same exact thing. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. But you're doing the same exact thing. How do you say it? What is this? Okay. Yeah. You're doing the same exact thing. And it just gets repetitive. Everything just gets repetitive. Every day you wake up, you drink a cup of coffee, use the bathroom, get ready, go to work. Come home, go to sleep. Wake up, have a cup of coffee, get ready, go to work, come home, go to sleep. And it just keeps doing that. And it's just like, what the hell? And it's just like, why don't you just stop and like think about, what you're doing when you're not at work. We all have to do something to support ourselves financially, unless we were born with the privilege of being part of a wealthy family or have everything given down to us. Or maybe we were just lucky and got a trust fund, unfortunately, different matters, or we just got lucky and won the lottery or whatever, just to be well off. But it's just like, either way, we all have to do something to support ourselves financially, to first and foremost get by on our daily lives, but also to try and have fun. Because, yeah, we're alive, but are we really living? We're just working to survive, and then we just survive to work. That's not a life. But anyways, I told him, I was just like, what do you do for fun? Like outside of work. Like, yeah, you have your routine. You wake up, you work out, have a nice breakfast, prep, come to work, and then you work, and then you go home, spend some time with your girl, and then go to sleep, and you wake up and you do it all over. It's like, what do you do outside of work? What do you do outside of your girl? What do you do when you don't have to do something, but you want to do something? Like, what is that thing, And I was like, you could say exercising, you could say working out, but that's something that you feel you have to do because of the goals you want to meet. And it's just like, your girl, it's always nice to spend time with your partner, but it's just like, sometimes you just want to do stuff for you. And it's just like, for me, for example, I was like, for me, I wake up, when I work at 6 a.m., I wake up, get ready, go to work, do whatever I need to do to work, and then I come home. I come home and I can go to sleep real quick, or I can clean up real quick, or whatever. But at one point, I get up and I just go to the gym and I work out and everything. But I feel like those are all things I need to do also. What I do that I want, that absolutely has no impact on me financially, or anything else of that matter, it's just me doing something that I want to do, is doing this, talking into this mic, playing music, recording it on my camera, and later editing it. That's what I do that I want. And since I do that, this is something that I look forward to do every day that I can. Every day that I go to work, I'm listening to something in my earpiece while I'm patrolling around or whatever. And then I just think to myself, wow, this new topic, this new idea, this is something I could probably talk about. This is probably something I could bring up to people's attention, whoever hears this and everything. And I just keep thinking about it more and more and more. And then I just write it down on my phone, or type it down on my phone just as a reminder later on. And then it's just like, yes, yeah, So when I wake up and I go to work and do things that I have to do, I realize like, yeah, okay, so I'm going to go home. If there's something to clean up, I'll clean it up or whatever. I can rest for a little bit, then I'll go work out. And then after I'm done with that, I'll just hook up my mic, hook up my fan and power my camera, play music, and I'll just talk. And I'll talk what I want to talk about. And after that, when we're done, I'll pick up a funny clip, something about video games, background, whatever, and then I'll edit everything together and just upload it up to the internet. And once it's uploading to the internet or everything like that, rendering, I just gonna turn on the TV. And then I'll meet up with my buddy online, and we'll play. Well, we've been playing No Man's Sky lately. It's like, we'll play some No Man's Sky. We'll play some Aliens. We'll play what do you call it? What was that called? Hold on, let me okay. Yeah, so it's just like we'll play whatever we want to play. I don't know. Not Harvest Moon. What's that game called? Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley. We'll play whatever's, and then my woman's gonna come home. I don't know what we'll do after that. But I did what I wanted to do, And then in my days off, what do I do in order to make myself feel good on my days off? I'll get up. I'll get changed. I'll make sure the cats have water and food first and everything. Then I'll just get changed and I'll walk and I'll enjoy the day, whether it's cloudy or sunny. And then I'll go to my local cafe, just a few blocks away from where I live. Sit down, listen to some nice smooth jazz, some morning jazz and everything. Get my journal, write whatever's on my mind down on my journal. I'll watch a funny video, maybe a TV show I'm looking at. I'll have my croissant and my coffee, and that's how I start the day. I'll have a list after that, like, hey, since I'm out and about, what else can I do? And then I'll just go and I'll find out everything else that I need to do for the day. And once I find what I need to do, I'll be like, cool. All right. I'm just going to go do that. And the next thing you know, I've been out for like 2 hours, 3 hours or so, walking around, getting stuff done. I come back home, fix up whatever needs to be fixed up in the house, and then watch some TV, play some video games with my buddy. We have days off, or just chill, think about what to do in a podcast. And then just go work out, do what I want to do. And then, yeah, it's all about how you take care of yourself, really. It's like, yeah, showing that you care about somebody else is important. Showing responsibility financially and for your life is important. But what's also really important is making sure that you yourself are living every day doing what makes you happy. Because if you just live to work and work to live, it's not a life. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. Like, look at me. I started off with some of the crappiest equipment there was. And then I soon upgraded to different stuff. Instead of the old crappy mic stand, I got a brand new podcast arm. Instead of the old Ahuhu mic I used to have for years that has the shh in the background, I upgraded to a Blue Ember. Instead of the old Phantom Power I used to have that was kind of playing with the bad audio quality, I got a new one. And I'm sitting here in the morning talking to this mic. I only get a few couple of views, but that's fine. That's happy. I'm happy with that, And it's just like, here I am having ideas. I'm saving money so I can get myself a new guitar. I've been missing playing music. So once I get that down, I can start playing music again. Just start doing that. I'm learning how to do new stuff. I want to learn how to play a new instrument. The concertina, I think it's called, and the hurdy-gurdy. I want to save money to get some of those and start learning how to play that. Fun music. Well, anyways, guys, like I said, thank you very much for spending some part of your day just listening to this young guy but feels hella old talk about just some nonsense and everything. Take care of you guys. Take care of yourself. It's very important. That's always important. Well, anyways, I was your host, Armando Ortega, and this was another episode of The Mind of Mando. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. See ya.